Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 162 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on May 9th, 2023. How are all you wonderful folks doing? Yeah, I hope you're doing well. I am doing well. There is so much going on in the silencer land right now. It's pretty wild. I'm glad you tuned in to the podcast. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for listening. A lot of neat stuff. A lot of neat stuff on the list to talk about today. We're going to get into the latest data publication, the Maxim Defense DSX. We're going to talk about how that silencer performed on the Mark 18. We're going to talk about how it performs on the SURG system, the suppressed upper receiver group, which is basically a tuned Mark 18. And finally, wanted to highlight somewhere I'll be this weekend, so I can hopefully meet some of you. So yeah, a lot of good stuff on the agenda today. So with that, let's get on with the show. But first, a bit about some of the folks that make this podcast possible. That's right. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Top Gun Range Houston. Yeah, that's right, guys. It's pretty cool. I met these guys. I want to say met them at SHOT Show. Spoke with them, talked to them a little bit late last year. They're in the Houston area, and so I will actually be at their range this Saturday, May 13th. I think it's from 10 to 4. I'll be there. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go check out their range and meet some of you guys. So they're in the Houston area. They got a 15-lane indoor shooting range, largest firearm rental fleet in the state of Texas. So it'll be pretty cool. You can rent firearms there and shoot them and try them out, things like machine guns, stuff like that. And so yeah, like I always say when I read this ad to you guys, I think it's kind of cool to try out pistols before you buy them, things like that. That's my personal opinion. Like rifles, yeah, it's cool to try those out too. But for me, handguns are super personal. And I seldom will buy a handgun without trying it first. I have before, but I'm a pretty big proponent of that. I know some people disagree with me, and that's fine. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I go to indoor ranges. I don't go to indoor ranges a lot just because I shoot outdoors. But they can be useful, especially if you're in the city, you don't have access to land, stuff like that. You never know. So yeah, so check them out. TopGunRange.com. You can find them on Instagram at TopGunRange, and maybe I'll see some of you folks Saturday. All right. And this podcast is also brought to you by High-End Armament Technology. That's right, a dealer of exactly that, high-end arms and accessories. These guys are a little different. I like to think of them as a kind of an emergency measure. No, they have a significant longevity in the machine gun game and NFA game in general, night vision, thermal, lasers. No, they do. Robert owns this place, and he's pretty wild. I mean, the stuff they can get for you if you need it, man. I'm telling you. If you're looking for like a rare HK gun or some kind of weird night vision doohickey that has been eluding your grasp for quite some time, they're one of those places where you can call and be like, hey man, have you run across XYZ? And he'd be like, I can get that for you. And you'd be like, how are you getting that? And he's like, don't worry about it. You're like, all right, cool. And then you buy it. Check him out at highendarms.com, on Instagram at highendarms, and they even have a Facebook page, which is also High End Arms. I hope they can help you out if you need it. Okay? Tell them Jay sent you. And then also, this podcast is brought to you by Silencer Shop. Now, let me tell you something. They've done a lot for the NFA game. Okay, you can use their kiosk, you can do your fingerprints and photos electronically, you cut down on errors, you simplify your silencer purchasing process. You're watching Netflix with your wife, you're like, I don't know what, she's like, have you found something to watch yet? You're like, I don't know, 1 second. And in reality, you're buying a silencer. I mean, really, guys. That's what you can do. You get a money back guarantee. It's great. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. That's right. And at pewscience.com/podcast, in the show notes of every episode and in your favorite podcast provider, you can check out the coupon codes for you, in particular, True Shot Gun Club out of Arizona and Magpul. Use code PSTEN at magpul.com to get $10 off your order of $100 or more. Stockpile on mags. Be a lunatic for freedom. And lastly, and most importantly, this podcast is brought to you by Pew Science, the one and only professionally engineered weaponeering. Pew Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. That's right. It is the simplest and most accurate hearing safe rating for suppressed small arms, based on true human inner ear response from the entire combustion event. The entire gunshot, before combustion takes place, all the way until all the combustion is gone. It's the home of the silencer sound standard. 7 sections. The most in-depth and accurate silencer data and analysis in the known universe. Check it out at pewscience.com. And you can support this podcast. You can support Pew Science. You can support all of the testing that I do for you by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. You get more data. It's pretty neat. And there's a donate feature if you're generous and you just want to give more. Just a little bit. Yeah, you can do that too. There's a donate feature on the review page and the podcast page. Every little bit helps. And you know what? If that's not the cut of your jib and you just want just to peruse for free, that's okay too. And you can give this podcast a good rating on Spotify or iTunes, things like that. That doesn't cost you anything, but it does help. Helps me, helps you, helps normalize the use of suppressed small arms. That's right. 3 topics for you today. We're going to get into this. It's going to be awesome. Topic 1, Sound Signature Review 6110. The Maxim Defense DSX on the 5.56 Mark 18. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, this is the technical discussion of the publication that was released last week. Topic 2, Sound Signature Review 6111. That's right, the Maxim DSX again, but this time on the 5.56 SURG. The SURG, what's that? Oh, it's a suppressed upper receiver group. That's the same silencer, same barrel length, same everything except for the gas port. That's right. It's a tuned Mark 18. We'll go into the technical discussion of that, see how we can dovetail that with topic 1. And then topic 3, that event on Saturday. Top Gun Range Houston. It's hosting me at their range Saturday, 13th of May from 10 to 6 or 10 to 4, 10 to something. Come out and say hi if you're in the area. Okay, huge thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast, setting this event up, and also I want to say big welcome to Cobalt Kinetics. That is something that I actually just happened. I want to say yesterday. Yeah, yesterday evening. Cobalt Kinetics joined Pew Science, so I wanted to thank them for that. Big ups. All right, let's get into topic 1 at a time of 7 minutes and 48 seconds. All right, let's see. Take my notes here. Very good. Topic 1, Sound Signature Review 6110, the Maxim Defense DSX on the 5.56 Mark 18. SBR 10.3-inch barrel. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, technical discussion. All right. Released this last week, much to the surprise of literally everybody, except Maxim Defense. He did it again. He's crazy. Yeah, boy howdy though. It was wild. This is so wild. Last episode, I thought it was crazy how we were doing listener questions and someone asked if monocores still had a place in the state of practice or something. They asked something like that, or I don't recall the exact question, but it was something like that. Or they asked if we would see any from Pew Science again or something, or at all. I don't know. But when I answered the question, I was like, strong maybe. Because I don't know how it happens with those dang listener questions, but they end up being super topical no matter when I answer them. Isn't that crazy, dude? Anyway, so yeah, the Maxim Defense DSX. This came out of left field for, I think, all of you. I want to say all of you, pretty much, that are listening to this. And I got to say, I did not know what to expect when Maxim first approached me with this system. I met with them, and they told me what they wanted to do. They told me what they had developed, how it is used, what it's for. And I listened to all of it, as I always do. I always listen to prospective clients. I always listen to what they have to say, always. And I think I kind of knew what was going to happen. Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. What we'll do here, what we'll do is we'll progress through this like any other technical discussion. Okay, so first things first, this is a 5.56 silencer. Okay. Dedicated bore. Okay. It's not a small silencer. It just so happens, it's on my desk here. I got a lot of silencers on my desk right here. I was taking some pictures and relax. I just want to take some pictures. You see that Jeffrey Dahmer documentary? Yeah, I have a bunch of silencers on my desk here. This silencer is pretty much the same length as the old SWR Spec War 2, actually, sitting on my desk, same length. And it's an all-in, as configured, all-in, the silencer is 22.2 ounces, which is, it's actually most certainly lighter than the Spec War. Trust me. And unlike the Spec War, and this is a real Spec War, mine is an actual real SWR Spec War 2. Unlike the Spec War, this DSX is fat. That's FAT, not PHAT, like the kids used to say. This is girthy silencer. 1.75 inches in diameter, outer diameter. So these guys made a 1.75 inch OD silencer, put a 5.56 bore in it, and said, "Hold my beer." That's basically what they did. I mean, that's what they did. And guess what is inside? It's a monolithic core. That's right. One piece of 17.4 stainless steel. How about them apples? Monocore. Not super wild monocore geometry. It's not super crazy or anything. It's not like, I don't know if you guys know who Liberty Suppressors are. It's not Liberty Precision Machine. That's a new company. I'm talking about Liberty Suppressors in Georgia. There's a guy named Dave. He's been making monocore silencers for a minute. And when I say a minute, for like a long time, for a while. He makes like really complicated monocores, and this is not that. Okay, I'm talking. This is just big old expansion chambers in the monocore. Okay, this is big old monocore. Like remember back in the day when we had slanted washers in silencers, like before you were born, probably. Some of you don't remember that, but some of you remember. I remember, Jay. Yeah, like that. But with like variable spacing. It's kind of what it is. So when have we seen a 5.56 bore and a combination of that with expansion volume like this? When have you seen that? Okay, you got to think about it. I mean, when have you seen it from Pew Science, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've seen the YCM Turbo, maybe Razor 556. Here, with the bigger bore though, it's like you can't really, not a lot of baffles. Yeah, I guess the point I'm getting at with gas dynamics here is you're letting the gas expand a lot. One of the twists here is the symmetrical conventional blast baffle in the core. Okay, you can look at this. So what you have in the DSX from Maxim is you have this conventional baffle shape with no porting as the blast baffle in the core. Okay, and then what you do is you expand it to this gigantic expansion chamber after that. And then you repeat a pattern of asymmetry if you look at it. And it's kind of interesting, and you can see this geometry if you go to their website and you download the PDF of the manual. Okay, so the DSX link in the first, like the second word in the article I wrote, if you click DSX, you go to their website, then you scroll down, there's a PDF link on their website. And so you can look and you download that PDF and you can look at the whole thing because it's the thing's user serviceable. So they show you the inside of it because they want to show you how to take it apart. Okay, super interesting to look at if you've never seen a monocore silencer, a monolithic core silencer. I mean, a lot of you have seen monolithic core silencers. Why? Because you've seen an OSS silencer now, the 3D printed ones. You've seen the 3D printed CGS silencers. You see the 3D printed SIG silencers. Those are all monocores. Oh, you don't like hearing that they're monocores? Well, they are. Why are they monocores? Well, they're monolithic. That's all that means. See, when people think monocore, they think about what you see in the Maxim because that's how monocores were made, because there was no such thing as DMLS titanium back in the day. So it was just like you take bar stock and you like mill it out or whatever, right? There's some advantages to manufacturing like that, right? So anyway, it's cool. You can take a look at it. You can do that in your own time, though. I kind of explained it. 1 second. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. There's been a lot of hubbub about this being a monocore and performing like it does, but we'll get into that. So another thing that's super interesting is the mount, I thought, into the silencer, the mount and the way it's retained. I have it in my hand right now, the silencer. It's interesting, dude. You can see, again, look at the manual if you want to see how it works. So you can torque this thing, like when you can take it apart, right? So you can torque it super crazy time. 30 foot-pounds, I think, is what they have it. And believe me, I took this one apart. It was a pain in my butt because it was torqued to 30 foot-pounds. Yeah, so you can torque it super happy fun time to 30 foot-pounds, but they also have this wire retainer in here that can keep it from loosening just because you have to shear through the retainer. It's a super simple idea, actually. I'm kind of amazed no one else does this. It's kind of cool. It's easier for you to see in a photo. Go check it out in their manual. Again, I took it apart. It's hard. It is hard to take apart given how you have to do it. So be careful because don't break the silencer. So, but the manual will help you. I don't know that I would tighten it to 30 foot-pounds. Putting it back together, given the retention mechanism, but that's not my recommendation. I'm not telling you not to. Look, if you buy the silencer, I am not telling you to like disobey them. I'm just telling you, like me, I'm like, I'm like, I would tighten it, and then when I see this retention thing, I'm like, dude, that's like pretty baller. I'd like tighten it a little bit less and like still use the retention thing. So I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I am sure that torque is a good idea. Again, I am not going against the recommendations. I'm just saying I'm sure torque is a good idea because the thing is the rated firing schedule of this thing, dude. So this tube is titanium, right? But the Core 17.4, this thing passes multiple SOCOM surge cycles on a 5-inch 5.56, dude. Like with M855. M855, multiple surge cycles. Like I don't remember what the exact SOCOM surge firing schedule is. That's what like the rugged silence, like the rugged radiant, that titanium silencer, that passes that. The Thunder Beast Dominus, the titanium silencer with the 17.4 brake, passes the multiple surge cycles. The Maxim Defense, no different, multiple surge cycles. This one though, on 5-inch 5.56, that's nuts. I did not test that, but that's what Maxim told me they did. So M855, dude, I'm just saying. So it's kind of wild. The one I tested, the one I have here is the DSX-D as in Delta. Okay, so it's Delta Sierra X-Ray Delta. I didn't designate that in the article because the construction is identical to the DSX-M. as in Mike. Okay? The D and M are the same because the M comes with a direct thread mount. It's just that the M version allows you to remove the direct thread mount separately without taking the core apart, and then you can put any universal back-end mount in there. You feel like a hub thing, you know what I'm saying? Which I thought was interesting. So any data we talk about here is applicable to the DSX-D and the DSX-M as it ships to you with its own direct thread mount. You feel me? Okay. That's why I just called it the DSX. I wanted to avoid confusion. I think if people start buying these and put the different hub mounts in them, we can cross that bridge when we get there, but direct thread was specified in the article for this purpose. Okay, I try to make sure that people understand what the test parameters are. It's very clear on the website in every suppression rating graphic. In every review. It's all stated. It's all written for you. Okay? And speaking of that, let's get into the data. You can pull up the review at pewscience.com. If you're just listening to this after the podcast following any data publication, I will, in fact, talk about it technically. Some people learn differently. Not everyone reads the combustion analysis I give online, and that's fine. You don't have to read it. But if you want to understand it and you don't want to read it, that's why I do the podcast. So we can talk about it together and make it more accessible for folks, and when they're mowing their lawn, walking their dog, or driving their Formula One car. I don't know what you guys do. Okay, 1 second. He's crazy. Okay, I'll give you guys a second to pull that up. I pulled up the member review. You're not going to miss anything in this if you pull up the free review during the podcast. I will say, though, in this particular set of reviews, if you're not a member, you are actually missing things. But don't worry. I won't leave you behind during the podcast. Okay, now that you have the review pulled up, bottom line up front, 38 point... Oh, is this right? Oh, dude, I almost did I make a typo? No, that's right. No, wait, what? Hold on a second. I'm just misremembering. Okay, no, that was the other review that is that number. Oh, man, I almost had a heart attack, dude. Okay, bottom line up front, 38.8 composite suppression rating. That's right. On the standard Mark 18 weapon system, 38.6 at the muzzle, 22.0 at the ear. That's right. Boy, howdy, dude. 38.8. It's crazy. That expansion volume, guys. I tell you what, with a 5.56 bore, have you ever seen the combination like this? I mean, look at that ear rating, though. 22. Bruh. 38.6 at the muzzle. 22 at the ear? Bro. That's wild different, right? That's like polonium different, right? That's sacred different, isn't it? I hope you guys are seeing this. I don't think people get shocked and distracted by the size of the silencer and stuff. I want you to look at this. You've seen this before, okay? I mean, by this time, I think you guys understand silencers. The people who've been listening to this, so yeah, you've seen this before. Let's keep going. I want you to hold that thought. Hold that thought. About what I just said. We're going to keep going. Okay, I want to keep going. I want to get you all up in this data. All right, let's scroll down. Scroll down past the scary words and colors and the table that makes people scared, and scroll all the way down to figure 1. That's right. Typical. It's typical. Figure 1A, you can see the whole signature, the entire signature. Typical, right? Bolts closing between 75 to 80 milliseconds on this time scale. Nothing shocking right now, right? Typical. Okay, now look at figure 1B. Yeah, you can see the internal combustion in the silencer. Okay, it's important for you to see that. Okay, per typical in a silencer like this, you can see that. Okay, you can see the bullet shock and the exit event are coupled together as you would expect with this. And then you see what do you see then? You see a gradual building of pressure. Yeah, gradual building of pressure, right? That is what you see in the early time in figure 1B. So far, nothing wild. Excuse me. I still have this rib thing going on, so it's short of cough, so it's a whole problem. Sorry about that. So you're not seeing anything too wild in figure 1B. So what is this silencer doing, guys? What's it doing? It's letting gas out relatively slowly, right? Relatively slowly. Why? Why is it doing that? It has a traditional blast baffle with no porting. Okay. It's got really big expansion chambers. Really big. It's got a dedicated bore. Okay. All right. So those are some factors. Scroll down more. What do you see in figure 2? Slow rise to peak positive phase impulse, right? Pretty slow. Takes a while. Takes a while to build to that impulse. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. The veteran Pew Science members and connoisseurs of this data will probably start flipping back and forth, looking at waveforms in the polonium test on the Mark 18 and the Saker test from Silencer Co. on the Mark 18. Right, homie? You're looking at those? Yeah, there's some similarities. I mean, in a gross fashion here, this thing has relatively high back pressure, doesn't it? It just does. Okay. And for me to say that, I'm talking very casually here. I might be lulling you into a false sense of security. His voice is soothing. No, I don't know if that's true. No, but what I just said to you, the listener, is that this 1.75 inch, very long and this large silencer has high back pressure. I said that to you. I told you the data indicated that. Let that sink in. Okay? I want you to let that sink in because I don't know how many people are listening to this podcast exactly right now. And there's a lot of you, and I know some of you have been in the silencer industry for decades. And what I just said goes against what some of you have said and some of you have been told for decades. And I think that a lot of the people that are watching this research know that's what I said is not crazy, but I think some people need to hear it again and again and again. So I think this is an interesting review because it lets you see another case study disproving something that was said in the industry for a long time, Because you might ask, what do you mean, Jay? The silencer people and the silencer forums on the internet, they told me that if your silencer has a lot of volume and has low back pressure, they said, manufacturers told me, and I am sorry to say to you that those people are incorrect. And it's not an opinion. It's not my opinion. It's not an opinion, dude. It's just objectively wrong to say that. And, the flow rate through a silencer of combustion gases and how it's affected here, it's influenced by gross volume, sure, but we're talking about a dynamic pressure vessel being subjected to supersonic flow. It's compressible, and so there's a lot of things going on. One of those things is insane expansion through the silencer, and you can look at this end cap orifice, dude. You're not shooting 308 through this thing, homie. Okay, it's like, the silencer is doing some work to let your 556 jet expand. And the 556 jet expansion is one of the things that's very popular in primitive designs, and it's really an excellent way to do it. It was popular with AAC, right? Like, it was popular with a bunch of companies, and and a monocore of this design, it's excellent thought to me. What a simplistic engineering solution. Simplistic. I mean, if you know what you want to do, if you want to expand that jet, why not give it the room? That's what they did. You got to ask yourself, would a monocore behave the same way with 308 if the bore was big enough? And I think the answer is no. I don't think it would behave the same way at all. I think it's a different combustion history, and I think it's a different jet diameter, and I think I haven't tested a 308 version of this, but my guess is that you would have to do something a little different. That's just the postulation, but I can tell you what I'm seeing in the data, and I can tell you what the weapon did. So, I mean, we have so many indications here. I mean, this is not like when you look at just look at figure 1 and 2, figure 1A, 1B, and figure 2A and 2B here. And I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, if you come to me and you say, Jay, I don't think that's right. I think you're lying. I think that this does have low back pressure. I say, okay, then why do the plots look like this? There couldn't be any more proof. And there's even more, and we'll get to that in a second, but it's like, look at it. Look at the data. I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, it's almost boring to me, this review, in a way. It's almost boring. Other than, okay, yeah, it's really quiet at the muzzle, but it's like, okay, cool. But like, are we seeing anything crazy in the data? Well, no, not in this review, right? I mean, I don't mean to not be enthusiastic. I mean, I'm very thankful that we were able to do the study, but don't start freaking out when you see this, because if you're reviewing this, there should have been a response. I think, in that respect. So on the other side of the coin, this particular review and the review that follows it are kind of unique in that you really need to be a Pew Science member to see some really insane things here. A good thing for you to understand, broad strokes, is that this thing has high back pressure, and if you don't believe me, wait until the next topic. Read the next article, Article 6, 111, because I will show you how you mitigate some of the effects of high back pressure, and those effects would not be able to be mitigated if they were not there, if that makes sense. Okay, so the very fact that the next article shows what it shows should give you a hint that the silencer has high back pressure. Now, if you're a Pew Science member, there are some special notes here in the member review in 6110, okay? And in fact, the way the data is presented, it lays the groundwork for the next article. And in that article, in the member version of the next article, members see data presented in a way that's very special and with conclusions that nobody has ever shown definitively in this way ever in the entire history of small arms. I promise you, because I've never seen it published, and if it was published, I doubt someone would keep it a secret. Okay, so I say all this to say, if you're not a member and you see the impulse waveforms and the wave shapes, and you follow the research and you still don't believe me that this is a high volume silencer that has high back pressure, well, you're just going to have to become a member then, I guess. I can't convince you more than I have in the public review unless you see that other data. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you. All I know, what is a little weird to me, and this is personally, I noticed this was strange, it has been awfully quiet in the industry about this, right? Because you would think, and this is something I was pondering the other night, you would think that major silencer companies would be apologizing to consumers for telling them something that was incorrect for decades. You would think they would apologize, right? Because they see this data, you would think they would come out and apologize, right? But I didn't hear anything. It's weird. I guess they didn't read the review. I don't know. But you guys read the review, and now you know more than them, right? That's what I think. I thought it was so odd, because I've seen the same people say something over and over again for decades, and then now I show definitively that it's not true, and they don't say anything. It's weird. I thought that was super weird. Either they're not paying attention or they wrote it off because they don't believe it or whatever. But it's like, okay. I was like, everyone's seeing this and it's pretty clear. So I think it's important to look at. I don't know. That was weird. You guys might have thoughts on that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded or something because I see it all the time. You know what I mean? I don't know. But we can look at it in context so that you can get a feel holistically what's going on, right? So again, we're still looking at this DSX on the untuned Mark 18, right? This is the same Mark 18 you've seen tested over and over again, okay? So if you look at this in context, maybe it'll help you get a feel for the phenomenology in a different way. Okay, so if you scroll down in the review, there's a lot of words. It's good for you to read. Scroll down out of the member section, okay? Okay, if you go to figure 6 here, if you look at figure 6, which is the bar chart with a lot of different silencers in it on the Mark 18, you scroll down, you see the DSX is in red there. Try to do that to highlight that. You're looking at that and you're like, man, 38.6 of them. Is that right, dude? Did I keep thinking that I mistyped the damn number. No, that's right. Okay, 38.6. There's so many numbers in my head that sometimes I get confused and I forget which significant figure. Anyway, 38.6, really high. Okay, 1 second. 38.6 is really high at the muzzle. This thing is really working to trap that jet for a while. You have so much expansion volume in different chambers. And when you look at how the DSX stacks up against the polonium at the muzzle, it's about, what is it, about a point different or so? Dude, that's right there. Not extreme at all, right? Not a big difference at all. The polonium is way smaller. It's smaller in diameter and length, okay? So you see the technology gap here, right? You got a big monocore, you got a big primitive monocore with a big volume. You got a big silencer. Gets it done at the muzzle, no question. But even changing to a conical baffle stack, nothing even super duper high tech, right? Look, no offense to Otter Creek at all. Believe me, dude. Believe me. I'm just saying their baffle design is good, but it's not like super duper wild, right? Even by just going to what Otter Creek did, you can basically get the same gross performance at the muzzle on the Mark 18 in a smaller package. With it might even have a bigger bore than the DSX. Because I think the Otter Creek, the polonium, I think is a 6mm silencer. I haven't measured the actual monocore bore of the DSX, but I know the end cap bore is tighter. Okay, so I think. So regardless, what I'm saying is like, there's kind of levels to this, right? Because you can make big silencers, you can make small silencers, you can make light silencers, you can make heavy silencers, short silencers, long silencers. There are all types of things you can make. And every single thing you make performs a certain way. Okay? Not because of magic, not because of your feelings, not because of someone in a lab coat, not because of someone knowing somebody else or hanging out with them, not because of anything except for physics. Okay? The physical laws that seem to govern the current universe and the timeline in which you and I reside, if we are in fact real, and this is in fact all real, and you are in fact really listening to this, you know? No, but it's funny, like when I was a kid, sometimes I thought that when I left the room, the people in the room were gone, and when I came back, maybe they magically reappeared. I don't know. Did you ever think, I really didn't understand the true concept of the nature of reality. I always questioned how we even knew that we ourselves were real. I knew that when I went to bed, I would fall asleep, and then I would wake up, and I would do it all again, right? But I didn't really know if maybe when I fell asleep and was unconscious, if that was actually just a simulation and someone put my brain to sleep, and then maybe reality only existed in my mind. Okay. So I acknowledge. So all that to say, I acknowledge that we don't actually know if this silencer truly works, insofar as we actually don't know if we ourselves are real. Okay. I will acknowledge that. But again, assuming that I am real and you are real, then this DSX doing what it is doing and the polonium doing what it is doing is real. And because of physics, we can say that nothing anyone says about that is going to change it. Is that fair? Okay? I would go so far as to say, if for some reason this is not real, what I'm showing you here, we have big problems. Because if the performance of these silencers isn't real, you're not real. And I'm not real. And then we have a problem. Okay? Because then why do I have to go into work in the morning if I'm not real? Answer me that one. Okay? Because there's people saying the data's not real. Oh, well, okay. Well, if it's not real, then I'm not real and you're not real. It's real. You know, I know I'm being a little facetious right now, but it's like, what, you think because this is a monocore it can't do this, dude? Look how big the silencer is. Look how big expansion volume is. And I'm serious about this. I put something in the article, and it wasn't, I wasn't trying to be mean. Trust me, dude. I was not trying to be mean, but I put it in there for context. I said, okay, I want to say something right now I think is important. I want to say, if the polonium and the DSX are getting close to the 40 zone at the muzzle, okay? Now, what does this like physically mean? 1 meter away from the end cap on the Mark 18, mil standard location, silencer sound standard location, okay? 1 meter left of the end cap in the free field, these two silencers on the Mark 18 with M193 ammunition are getting close to the 40 zone, okay? Okay, that is absolutely absurd for a silencer, for reference, okay? Just so we're clear. Given what you see in Figure 6, that is absurd. It's absurd. That is so quiet. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Okay? Those two silencers are doing that. You know what is even more absurd? What is even more absurd than that? Look at the difference between the DSX and, I don't know, the Energetic Armament ARCs. Or the Razor, the Rugged Razor 7.62. At the muzzle. Guys, look at that. What is that? Like 16 and a half at the muzzle or something like that? And then the DSX is like 38 and a half? 38, 16. Look at that, dude. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. It's not even the same sport. Okay? And I said something like that in the article in a diplomatic way, but it's like, it's not even comparable. To the point that the hazard level to a bystander is so dang different, you are looking at grossly different system behavior. It's to the point that I think some people need to understand this. What I don't want to look, I don't want people going out and shooting silencers without understanding what they're getting into. This is like, some of this stuff is so different. It is like night and day different, dude. That is wild. That signature differential is so significant. And so and let's keep this going. So you look at the ear rating, right? You look at the shooter's ear rating on this thing, the DSX, 22. Okay, 22 flat. It's like, well, yeah, man. It's like, you're 38.6 at the muzzle. You get 22 at the shooter's ear. I said at the very beginning of the topic here today on the episode, I said at the very beginning of the topic, I'm like, that's a big old gap, right? It's a huge gap. That's RC2 from Surefire. That 5.56 RC2. That's what is that? That's Helios QD from CGS. That's Knight's Armament QDC at the ear. 1 second. Right. All those are like around 22 at the ear, right? Right? But this silencer is like way bigger. Okay? This silencer has enough back pressure that it makes the gun unlock fast enough to make the ejection port signature severe enough to drop the shooter's ear rating all the way to 22. The only reason it's not lower than 22 is because the muzzle signature is not severe enough and it's so long it's further away from the shooter. You understand like how this works with the sound field? This is the perfect storm to make the shooter's ear suppression rating not drop further than 22. It just gets lucky in this, dude. But make no mistake. I want you to make no mistake when you see this. 22 is not quiet on the Mark 18 to the shooter. I don't care. People are like, oh, the Surefire is 22 point. Yeah. Not quiet, dude. To the shooter, it's 22. What does that show in the suppression rating dose chart? It's not quiet. 22 at the shooter's ear on the Mark 18 is indicative of either a loud silencer or a high back pressure silencer. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I know it's all relative, but like we got Huxworks silencers on here. We got SIG silencers in the 300 blackout now. Okay? Let's what you don't want to say all these silencers are high back pressure. What? Look at them. Look at the shooter's ear ratings and the whole dang figure 6. Squint your eyes, dude, so you can't even see the freaking numbers on the blue bars, and look where the blue bars stop, and then scroll all the way to the top of the figure, and all of a sudden you see blue bars going further to the right. Why? I don't know. Maybe the ejection port pulse is less severe. I don't know. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, just hold that thought. Okay. I mean, I'm saying something controversial here that you're, even, the SCI 6, the Surefire, the Trash Panda, Dominus, Turbo, they're still not getting a 30 at the ear on the Mark 18. Why? Magic? No, it's not magic. Why don't you scroll down to figure 7? Scroll down to figure 7. It's another bar chart I put in this. Scroll down to figure 7. Now you see it. Why? Of all the people to show this to you, of all the people to fund this work, of everybody, it was Maxim Defense, dude. So let's talk about it. Yeah, dude. Let's talk about it in topic 2. At a time of 46 minutes. It's like losing my mind. 46 minutes and 22 seconds. Yeah, let's look at it. Why not? It's a good place to transition. I mean, it's literally the same silencer on a different gun. Let's get topic 2. Sound Security Review 611. Maxim Defense DSX. The exact same silencer we just talked about. The exact same silencer. Putting it on a different upper. With the same barrel length. The same, everything's the same except for this gas port. And the handguard or whatever. Okay. Seriously, dude, I'm telling you. So let's look at this. I'm going to hit back on my browser. Now I'm going to click on the review 611. I'm sorry, 6111. It's 111 articles. That's ludicrous. Okay, yeah. So Maxim Defense coming out of nowhere to a lot of you. And sending a SURG system to Pew Science. Suppressed upper receiver group. Okay, 1 second. Suppressed upper receiver group. And you know what? You think Maxim is the only one with these SURG uppers? Dude? Sometimes I feel bad for consumers because they're not seeing stuff that like exists, and it's like bugs me because like the marketing machine of a lot of these vendors and distributors and stuff, they don't ever tell you anything about stuff, and it's like weird. Maxim is not the only Maxim is not the only company to make a SURG. It's like it's just not a civilian market thing right now for some reason, and like widespread. I don't know. Maybe it will be. But before I even tell you, why don't we do this? You could stay in the old article or look in the new one. The same figure 7 is in both. If you look at figure 7, before I even tell you what a SURG is, look at the figure. What do you see? You see the DSX on the Mark 18 we just spoke about, and then you see the DSX on the SURG. Okay? And you see the suppression rating at the shooter's ear jump over 10 points. And you think to yourself, what in tarnation? I'll tell you what in tarnation. You're seeing tuning is what you're seeing. The SURG is nothing more than a Mark 18 with a smaller effective gas port. Okay, that's all it is. And how do you get your bolt to not unlock too early when the gun is the same? How do you do that? One thing you can do is, or one thing you can change, or not have to change, is your lower receiver setup. It's like you don't have to change your buffer and spring, dude, at all. I didn't. Same lower, dude. What's the one thing you can change with not even changing the gun? The actual gun part of the system. It's your gas port size. Right? Why do people run adjustable gas blocks? To dial in the gas. To dial in the impulse to the carrier. More specifically, it's like I almost hate people saying to dial in the gas. I want people to understand what they're doing. You're changing the impulse. Maybe if people started using the units, they would. I mean, they can't even write foot-pounds in user manuals with the right units. In like optic mounts and muzzle device torque and everything. So it's no surprise they wouldn't write impulse. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, guys, man, we got to start thinking about how we gotta start talking about how stuff works. I'm done with this BS stuff. Okay, you got to tell people how these things work because you're not going to do anyone any favors. You go decades in an industry, you don't even you're looking and you're seeing people telling people that silencers have high back pressure or low back pressure, and you're looking at volume, and it's like, relax. Guys, you're telling people stuff that's not even true. Now you talking about a tune in an AR. You don't even tell them how it works. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. Sometimes I look at people telling people stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. I've heard the craziest stuff. It's like, come on, guys, you got to be responsible. You got these big platforms. You're talking about weapons. You got to be responsible. You got to tell people that you can't be telling people incorrect information when you got a big platform. It's really dangerous, and you could really hurt people because you're spreading misinformation. That's really dangerous. Maybe we need those fact checkers. You know how bad that would be if you fact check the firearms industry. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that. Why do people run adjustable gas blocks? It's because they want to dial in the impulse at their carrier. Okay, remember, what is dwell time? It is the time it takes for the bullet to pass the gas port and then leave the muzzle. What happens during that time? What happens? Okay, you're sending a lot of blast load through that gas port, homie. What happens when you add a silencer? Does the duration of blast load through the port increase when you no longer have a free orifice at the muzzle? You bet your butt it does, homie. We talked about this last time. Artificial dwell time increased by adding a silencer. What happens when you shrink the gas port? We talked about this last time. You change the flow area. You reduce the infiltration pressure and your impulse, which is the area under the pressure time curve. It gets spread out over a longer period of time. It does not accumulate as fast. That is a restricted orifice. What happens? We talked about this last time. What happens? You don't reach the critical impulse threshold at the carrier key as fast. That's right. You don't reach the critical impulse threshold at the carrier key as fast. Then what happens? Weapon takes longer to unlock. Then what happens? Chamber pressure keeps dropping. Then what happens? Weapon finally unlocks. Then what happens? Differential between chamber pressure and atmospheric pressure is reduced. Then what happens? Less severe ejection port pulse. Then what happens? Signature at the ear changes. How much? How much does the signature at the ear change? Figure 7. That's how much. Figure 7. Okay? Okay? Figure 7. All right, scroll up to the very top of this article. Bottom line up front, 38.5 at the muzzle, 32.5 at the ear with the SURG system, Article 6.111. That's right, Article 6.111. Same silencer. Same lower assembly, same ammo, same barrel length, same gas system length. Bigger gas port, actually, 070 versus 080, but the gas block is restricted to 056. Speedios. Yeah. Yeah, you're comparing 070 Mark 18 to 056 Surge. Yeah, it's a difference of what is that? 7 month carry the one. Difference of 14 thousandths of an inch. Yeah. Different. Am I saying that right? For the machinists to be happy and how I'm saying the designation, 14 thousandths of an inch difference in diameter. You change the suppression rating at the shooter's ear by over 10 points by changing the gas port 14 thousandths of an inch in diameter. You change the suppression rating at the shooter's ear by over 10 points. All other things equal. That's right. That's literally all you needed to do. You can go through this article. You can look at how the signature of the muzzle does change minimally. I mean, we're literally testing two different barrels, two different manufacturers, probably different chamber dimensions, but it's a 10.3 with the gas system like the same. Just change the gas port size, okay? High-level conclusion is what I've already given you. This is a question that so many of you have been asking for literally years. What happens when you tune an AR for a silencer? This is literally the answer to your question in the most controlled fashion you could ever see. Okay, listen, this is literally a company who gave you a product that is tuned for a silencer. Okay, same barrel length, same everything, just change the port size. This is literally why people buy adjustable gas blocks. I don't know. I don't mean to be upset. I'm not upset. I'm very enthusiastic. For the life of me, I do not understand people who are against using adjustable gas blocks. I do not understand these people. The only way you can do what you see this. The only way you can do what you see in this article without an adjustable gas block is to own a SCAR or to start with a tiny hole and drill your barrel port progressively larger, dude. Yo, what? You can do that in your garage? Really? Are you really? No, you're not. Okay, relax. Okay, you can change the gas tube to a fat gas tube, whatever. But if you really want to change that flow area, I'm not talking about tuning with springs, which increases your return velocity, which is stupid. I'm talking about changing your gas port size. You can add mass too to keep the system closed longer. Yes, but at the end of the day, the port size is a huge knob to turn. I don't know where people got it in their head that adjustable gas blocks were bad. I don't know what it is with that. I don't know what it is. For me, as a guy who has a ton of silencers, not having an adjustable gas block is stupid. For me, it's stupid. I think it's stupid. If the adjustable gas block has several settings, guess what I can do? I can literally control the gas impulse at my carrier. What happens when I do that? I can get the results shown in the article. Are you serious? So now you literally have an entire article proving to you that an adjustable gas block can help. Was an adjustable gas block used in the Surge? No. Can you get the same net effect with an adjustable gas block? Of course you can. Why wouldn't you be able to, guys? That's the biggest takeaway here, I think. I don't know why everyone's talking about the silencer. Silencer is a means to an end. It's inconsequential, frankly. Come on, guys. Look, big picture here. So if you're a member, this is important. If you're a member, you want to know if this is truly driven by ejection port pulse? You want to know? Do you want to know? If you somehow aren't convinced of that, in the member version of the review, you need to look at the ear waveforms and read Research Note 6. And then I need you to read Research Note 7. And then later in the article, there's a section 3 for members. So it's 6.111.3. Members get a literal comparison between the two systems. The Mark 18 and the Surge with this DSX. Okay. Guys, we have proven definitively not only that tuning the AR for a silencer works, but Pew Science just published waveforms at the shooter's ear that show the phenomenon so clearly with first round pop delineating muzzle contribution that if you are a weapon designer or a silencer designer or want to understand this at all, this should be in your freaking textbook archives, dude. Write it down. Seriously, I'm going on record. Write this down today. This is the time that this was published. The first time in the history of small arms. Historic. Never been shown before. I'm proud of that. I'm serious. And I'm not ashamed to be proud. Okay? And I will say, some people are, and I've seen them say this, some people are saying, duh, of course we know that tuning in an AR makes it quieter to the shooter with a silencer. Duh. Okay. To that I say, prove it. Prove it. Because I did. And I showed my work. No amount of video would convince you of this. No amount of video. I don't care what video you show. Okay? Without the impulse histories, you are dead in the water. I have proof. Okay, the proof's in the member review on the internet. Literally, if a company pays $100, they can literally have historical proof of AR tuning reducing shooter hazard for the first time ever. Hard data, and it's cheaper than their cable bill for the month. You can't get, the cable packages are too expensive. You can't just get one channel. You want ESPN? You gotta get the sports package, dude. That's why you're paying more for cable than you are for the corporate membership to Pew Science. And look what you're getting from Pew Science. Think about it. I don't want to turn this into a love fest for Pew Science in this episode, but guys, like I can't show the non-members this data because it's not for them, it's for members. And I'm telling you, the data presented in the member review, you're never going to see this anywhere else ever, dude, unless someone does Pew Science again or something. Because no one did it ever since the AR was invented. So like now it's 2020. When was the AR invented? I don't even know the year. So what's 2023? Okay. When's the next time it's going to be? You know what I mean? It's like we waited how long, dude? And all these people, I'm telling you, people are like, oh, duh. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that like you already knew that. Well, how come there was no data showing it? Okay? You feel me? Like God, you can't have it both ways, dude. You can't just like, it's important. You want to know this. Everyone asked, what happened? Well, we don't like Jay publishing Mark 18 data because the weapon's not even tuned, and everyone knows that yada, yada, yada. Does everyone know yada, yada? You know what I mean? And now I do this, and it's like, oh, well, duh. It's like, okay. No, okay, so I publish all this Mark 18 data. Then then a company pays for a research study for one of their products, which is a tuned Mark 18, and all of a sudden everyone already knew it? Oh. Okay. What are we doing here, guys? What are we really doing here? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills sometimes. Because, I will say, all in all, I consider myself extremely fortunate to be able to publish this. This was funded by Maxim Defense. Huge thanks to Maxim Defense for making this happen. I didn't know how we were going to hit Mark 18 data that was tuned. I didn't know how we were going to satisfy the request. Because when you really think about satisfying the request to members for tuned Mark 18 data, think about what approach that takes. Think about it. I didn't know how we were going to start, but look at this. Okay, look how Maxim did it. So I want you to really hear me when I'm saying this to you. Pew Science did not have to disassemble a Mark 18 and make some kind of weird configuration with an adjustable gas block. Pew Science did not have to do that. Okay, Maxim came to me and just asked me to test their product that existed. Okay, they asked me to test the SURG, the suppressed upper receiver group for their silencer. That's what they asked me to test. People, and even after that, people asked me, they asked me if I would use the SURG to test other silencers. When I read that, I was like, guys, man, come on. Like, that question displayed a clear lack of understanding of what a surge is, right? That would be the same thing. That would be like asking me to test a silencer on an upper tuned for one silencer, but not tuned for the silencer you want tested, right? That's what that would be a no. My answer would be no. Now, if there is a surge for the polonium, or a surge for the SCI 6, or a surge for the RC2, then fine. Sure. If those things were incorporated into a surge, a suppressed upper receiver group, which includes a silencer, if those things are incorporated into a surge, I will test them. But they aren't. So you got it, right? So, okay, I'm not saying no, but hear me out. Hear this logic train. Keep all aboard the logic train. Let's keep talking. If I tune a gun and test it, Pew Science as a test laboratory, if I tune a gun and test it for you, I am creating a surge, right? Why should I have to do that when I didn't have to for Maxim? You feel me? Why? Why do I have to test? Why do I have to be the one to design the weapon? I'm a test lab, right? Suppressed weapon systems are systems. Yeah. If I have to make a system for every single silencer, now I'm doing R&D and product development. Yeah, now I'm doing R&D and product development for everybody for free, really, for the companies. How about I just remain a test lab? I mean, I'm just talking. We're just having a conversation, right? I'm just talking, right? How about that? How about I just be a lab? What do you want me to do? What do you want Pew Science to be? Because you're going to get mad if we go down this road, right? People are going to get very angry with me. You got to think about what you're asking me to do. You're asking me, well, Jay, can we just know what if you just use an adjustable gas block and tune the silencer tune the gun for every single silencer, and then told us what that tuning was, and then give us all the data? What are you asking me to do? What are you asking me to do? Okay. Want me to sell that product now? I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're asking Pew Science to do, and what that involves, and how large a test matrix that is, theoretically, and what that gives you. Yeah, I know that I sound combative right now, and that's fine. I know that, like, this is because I'm being a huge devil's advocate right now, right? Huge devil's advocate position, talking like this, because members come to me, you contribute monthly, your hard-earned money, and I'm super thankful for that. You come to me, you ask me things like, well, what if I tune it with mass? What if I tune it with spring rate? What if I tune it with gas port size? And I tell you, well, you get improvement. I do some internal research here and there, yada, yada. But then I have this company coming to me, and they fund a huge test program, which, if it was funded by members, would take, I can tell you right now, it's taking like your monthly contributions for a while to do. So it's like, well, we just got this done. The company funded it, and it's done. And not only that, it's a real weapon. It's already there. It passes surge cycles, not to be so. Just so we're clear, suppressed upper receiver group doesn't have an E on the end. Surge with an E on the end, that's a SOCOM firing schedule, which is like durability testing. So this upper that they make, it's already reliable. It does its thing. The gas port size is tuned for the silencer, not only tuned for the silencer to be like the quietest or whatever. I don't even know if that's true. It could be they could have gone even smaller. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, like, this is a product. It's a system off the shelf. Okay, so that's done. That's done. Done. It's not me fiddling with it, right? Because, like, if we test, let's say I take, this is a good example. Let's say I take the Daniel Defense Mark 18, take the handguard off of it, take the gas block off of it, switch it to a superlative arms gas block with restricted mode. To put the DSX on the Mark 18 from Daniel Defense. Put the gas all the way closed on the superlative arms gas block. Start shooting it. Open the gas until the bolt carrier group just locks back on the empty mag. Is that effective gas port size with the superlative arms gas block adjusted like that to the bare minimum function? Is that the same as 0.056 on the SURG from Maxim? I don't know. What if it's a little smaller because Maxim made those a little bigger because they were, I don't know, doing machine gun mag dumps for the military to make sure it worked? You see? And so what if the data was slightly different? Then you have, what do you have? You have this like bleeding edge test from Jay at Pew Science, and then you have to have the SURG performs. Okay, cool. Then what about like, I don't know, Thunder Beast? Thunder Beast has a Dominus, right? You got Dominus on the untuned Mark 18. Thunder Beast comes out with some testing. They do whatever, where they shrink the gas port. Thunder Beast also has like a SURG system, right? They don't give that to you, but I know they have one. I've seen it. Okay, well, what's their gas port size? Is it tested to bleeding edge with a superlative arms equivalent, or is it like a custom size, an orifice geometry too? You see what I mean? And I know like some of you might be thinking, well, that's not my problem, Jay. All I want to know is like what the capability is. It's like, okay, well, that's different. Now if we're talking, okay, Jay, okay, if you come to me as a Pew Science member and you say, okay, all I want to know is what is the greatest potential for quiet on my AR? Okay, let's talk. Different line of testing. And if I do that, that's going to be for members only. That's not going to be for large data practice. You feel me? That's going to be member research supplement only. Okay, because I do not want to risk people like going into some kind of crazy weeds and then people like not, you know what I mean? So it's like I'd have to like really limit that distribution, and it's a huge effort. And I think the only members should have that because frankly it would be member funded only, which I think is like super expensive. So I don't see how like not offering that as members only would make sense. So yeah, so what we could do, we could take the polonium, DSX, RC2, SCI 6. Those are the top 4 on the muzzle right now, something like that. And then we tune them on 11.5, and we publish it for members only. You know what I mean? Like we do that. We do something like that, right? I think that'd be cool. That would be a cool test with the Surefire OBC. So it's like unicorn gun, right? That you probably can't even duplicate. But hey, it'd give you the ultimate. It'd give you the ultimate, right? Give you the ultimate, right? For everyone else, you get this off-the-shelf products. I don't know, brainstorming. But what I'm saying is like you ask like, okay, now let's tune every single silencer you see in Figure 6. It's like, no, dude, I'm not doing that. Not unless the silencer companies come out with a product. How am I supposed to know what reliable is? You want me to start doing reliability testing with the gas port size? Not only do I need to figure out the clicks I need on the gas port or the adjustable gas block to have it lock back on the empty mag. Now you want me to do reliability testing too? And full auto? And you want to fund that with member funding? And then you want me to publish it for every silencer? Bro. Think about what you're asking. Just got to be practical. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I know that was a long diatribe, but like, I hope you guys see what I was trying to do with this. I hope you guys see why I kind of waited a little bit. Like, actually I want to say this test program was in the works since early this year. So all you folks that are asking for tuned data, I knew you were going to get this since like early this year. So if I dismissed your concern, it wasn't me dismissing it. It was just me telling you to be patient because you're about to get this. Okay? So all in all, just to wrap this up, this silencer, it's big. It's not that light. I will tell you, it is user serviceable, pretty durable. Titanium tube, not bad, dude. It is heavy, but it's not that heavy for how big it is and how durable it is. You just weigh it, dude. Just weigh the pluses and minuses. It's a simple silencer. It performs well. But what did we learn? Well, you got to tune your gun, homie. And what do we know about tuning? Well, right now you know that it helps the risk to the shooter with regard to overpressure, but what do we not know? Well, we don't know about gas toxicity, do we? This silencer still has a high omega metric. So if you do full auto with it, what happens? Could gas you. Would it gas you on the SURG, even though it is tuned? I don't know. Actually, I haven't shot it. I haven't shot it full auto. Been busy. It could. I have to find out when I have next time to shoot for fun, which is 0 time. No, I will have to. I'll let you know. I'll do it and let you know. Okay. I hope that was informative. Okay, let's go into topic 3 at a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 19 seconds. Topic 3. Oh my goodness gracious! Top Gun Range Houston. Oh, what is up? They're hosting me at their range Saturday. May 13th. Is that May 13th? Where's my calendar at? Yeah, 13th. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. No, come out and say hi if you're in the area. It'd be cool, man. Huge thanks to them for they sponsor the podcast. That is like super solid. That's a lot. That's a big old help to me. I would not be doing this podcast without sponsors. Like I did that for a while. I was like, nah, this is not happening. I was like, this has to get funding or I'm not doing this anymore. It's so much work. I'm like, nah, we're gonna go ahead and get sponsors. And I'm thankful for it because it's awesome. So big thanks to them. Big thanks to everybody listening. And big thanks to Cobalt Kinetics. That's another thing I want to talk about. It's interesting. Top Gun Range, they approached me to support Pew Science. They came to me, and in those discussions, they were like, hey, would you come to our range and do a thing where like you do a meet and greet? Is that cool? And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, so here we are. I'm going to swing by there Saturday. If you are in the area, yeah, swing by, dude. Just say hi. What's up? Say what's up. I am excited to check out their indoor shooting range. I haven't been to an indoor range, like a public indoor range, in forever. So I'm kind of psyched about that. I'm actually psyched to see what guns they have to shoot. So if I don't know, check out their inventory if you want, and then maybe there's something there you want to shoot. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's free to go, but I don't think it's free to shoot. So there's that. I will say, and this is something that I just wanted to say about indoor ranges. It can be hard to determine how a silencer sounds when you shoot it indoors. It's very seldom you would take off your hearing protection in an indoor range. It can actually be pretty dangerous to do that, right? Because the signatures change quite a bit when you're indoors. I want you guys to keep that in mind. It's funny. If you follow me on social media, I was at a place this weekend where they do training for military and law enforcement in a shoot house. I'm probably going to do some testing in that shoot house. And just to show you guys, I get so many inquiries from military and law enforcement and consumers about home defense and like SWAT teams and like shooting inside and what that does. And I know you guys see people doing sound testing for silencers in rooms and near barriers and stuff. I know you see that on social media and YouTube, all this garbage. I don't want to get political, but it's like, don't pay attention to that stuff, guys. They're not looking at the whole signature. Guys, clap your hands in a room. Clap your hands in the middle of the field. Okay? It's going to sound different. Okay? It's just like, come on, man. A gun is going to do the same thing. And the amplitude of a firearm signature, the resulting reflections, they can be hazardous to you. Okay? I don't think I have to tell you that. I think you know. I think anyone who's shot a gun in an indoor range, you're like, that's a little louder in here. Oh, really? No. So I'm thankful. I'd love to talk to you guys about this, like in person. That's one of the reasons I'm going. I want to meet. Seriously, I talk to people every week on this podcast, like all over the world. And it's like, I seldom go to shooting events and stuff because like I just don't have time because I'm running Pew Science. But these guys have supported me so much. I was like, I'm gonna pay it forward. I'm go hang out with them and like talk to you guys. So I love helping people. I love talking to people about this stuff. You come by, I'll talk to you about this. Any questions you have, I will answer them. Okay? Just like I do everywhere else. Social media, email, it's like same. I'm just the same guy, just in person, right? And I will say, Top Gun Range, they are definitely not the only corporate entity helping Pew Science succeed, right? You can go to the supporters page on pewscience.com and see all these companies helping. I met Aaron from Cobalt Kinetics last year. I want to say I met him last year, like NRA or something. And I recently touched base with him again. We were at a thing together and talking. And he's the guy running Cobalt Kinetics now. They're a rifle company. And he's pretty data-driven. And his interest is weapon systems. And I am super happy to have his support. His company joined Pew Science like yesterday or something like that. And it is so important that companies like him join it. I cannot tell you how important it is. Oh my God. It helps so, oh my God. It is so helpful to the research. So I am like, I'm elated. I'm ecstatic that I was talking to the guy forever, and like we see eye to eye on so many data driven things. I'm like, dude, this guy's awesome. So I'm super honored. His guns are pretty cool. I shot his guns. If you see him, dude, or if you run across Cobalt Kinetics, give him a thank you for me. Just like, dude, I heard you join Pew Science. That is solid. You're super based. Like, thank you. That would mean a lot to me, guys. If you thanked him. He is a neat dude. Let's like get more people to him. Like, I want to like boost his like following. Maybe we can like get him more popular. He's just such a hard worker. He's up in Utah. Good guy. So yeah, I think that's all I had for you guys today. Let's see. We're an hour and 21 in. What did I want to tell you about? Oh, yeah. Like I said, I went to the shoot house, this training facility. I think, I was thinking I was going to do multiple multiple room geometries for indoor testing for like rifle and pistol and blah, blah, blah. It's like bedroom, living room, hallway, kitchen, garage, just to like show you guys like what to expect. But then I was thinking, you know what? What if I did it in a place that like the public could go, what if I did it in a place where like other shooters could go and verify my data with experience? Where there was like a standard configuration that like all like special teams use too. You know what I mean? So I was like, let's do that. That way when there's haters, they can just go shoot. Proof is in the pudding, as they say. I like chocolate pudding. No. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. To those of you coming out Saturday, see you then. If not, have no fear. It's cool. You're going to get some... Oh, by the way, I probably won't talk to you again before a data drop early next week. Just, dude, and it's going to be nuts. Oh, man. I forgot. Yeah, I'm probably not... Okay. Yeah, so next week, dude, stay alert. Because something's going to happen and you're going to be like, what is this? Yeah, dude, just trust me. It's going to be wild. Okay? Stay tuned. Stay safe. And I will talk with you folks again soon. All right, bye.